Hello everybody, this is Johns Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-minute Histories videos. And today I'm on Pier 1 at the Inner Harbor, and behind me is the Pride of Baltimore 2. Now, we did a video on the Pride a while ago, but back then the Pride was out of water for repairs and I was able to get underneath it. This time the Pride is very much in the water, and I'm not going to get underneath it, I'm going to get on it. I'm going to join the captain and crew on a sail up to a town called Lunenburg in Nova Scotia in Canada. 7 days on the high seas, no stops. Yikes. Did I say no stops? No stops. But I am thrilled to be part of this ambassador voyage to share a little bit about Baltimore and Maryland with distant ports. And along the way, I'm going to post a video or two every day to share a little bit of what it's like aboard the Pride back here to folks on dry land in Baltimore. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go on board and meet with the captain in a moment, but let me say a word about the Pride and about tall ships in general before we do that. Tall ships, of course, are those wonderful, tall-masted, billowing-sailed sailboats that have played an enormous role in virtually every country's history, but they are not historic relics. They are very much with us today. There are tall ships all over the world. In America, there are tall ships from Newark, Delaware to Los Angeles, California. In other countries like Denmark, it has a tall ship called the Danmark. The Danmark first visited the United States in 1939 as part of the New York World's Fair, and then Nazi Germany began taking over Europe. So they gave the ship to us. We used it for training, and then when the war was over, we gave it back. Germany has its own ship. It's called the Gork Fock. I hope I'm saying that right. Tall ships often sail alone, but they sometimes sail as part of fairs and festivals with other tall ships. I think we got our first tall ship festival in 1976 as part of the bicentennial of our country's birth. Back then, I think 11 vessels visited here in the harbor. We had the Science Center, but it was before the aquarium and before the Inner Harbor pavilions. Over 100,000 people turned out, and it really was a catalyst for getting the Inner Harbor going. And I think we're going to get a tall ship visit again in 2026 as part of our 250th anniversary. But we're not talking today about tall ships visiting. We're talking about our tall ship leaving. And that's, of course, the Pride of Baltimore 2. As I get on board, I'm going to be on the first leg of a journey that's going to take this boat all the way through the Great Lakes. It's called the Tall Ship Challenge 2025, stopping in Toronto and Erie, Detroit, and Duluth all summer long, bringing Baltimore and Maryland out to distant cities, sharing a little bit about our life with them. But with that, let me stop and let's climb on board and talk to Captain Jan Miles.
Hello, my name is Jan Miles. I'm one of a couple captains with Pride of Baltimore 2. I've been with the program a long time. Certainly started with this second vessel when she started sailing in October of '88. But I was also a captain for the first Pride of Baltimore starting in '81. Took her into the Great Lakes and did a variety of other things on the West Coast and in Europe. So I've been with this program quite a while. Since the first Pride of Baltimore starting in 1977, when she started sailing in May of '77, it's always been this celebration, rejoicing of the fact that Baltimore's bothered to share this unique history. When we make a formal call to a port, we're doing as much demonstrating as to what the boat looks like under sail as we're able to within the navigable waters of the port. We're always putting on a show. We can sometimes mark it with a salute of a cannon. It's a bit of craftsmanship because you're sailing the boat, because it's a lot of gear that we're handling. And we sometimes are in a position to do some tacking and some maneuvering, depending upon the harbor. It's always just, wow, look at that boat. Look at how beautiful. It don't almost have no words for it. The scheduling, the timing, the allowance for time period for mileage is a formula that we use. And so the captain is always monitoring the wind. It's a sailboat. Sometimes you'll have a bunch of wind. You get way ahead for a while and then you get nothing or very little. And then you can afford, you got something in the bank, the time in the bank, so to speak. Every once in a while, because this particular trip is not a formal destination for a big publicity thing or anything like that, we might be able to arrive a day early.
All right, one final word before I get on board and we all head up to Canada. If you're curious, I have my 2 essentials with me. One is sunscreen, about 30 bottles of this, and 2 are pairs of earplugs. I've done enough Boy Scout overnights to know that lots of people in close quarters makes for a bad night's sleep. Stay tuned as I post videos every day, bringing a little bit of the pride back to everybody in Baltimore. And as the sailors say, farewell and fair winds.